Hello there and welcome. In this video, this will be the last video doing this mini series of using our Azure Functions to activate the routes. So time is 5:29 a.m. and let's quickly check something. If I go and check the pickups, because today it's Friday, right, the 10th, let's quickly check if Azure Functions has already kicked. You see, it hasn't kicked in. So I'm gonna leave this guy as it is. So I have searched the records based on, if you want to understand what I'm doing right now, please watch part 1 and part 2 because this is a wrap. But I promised to do this video before 5:30 a.m. based on the timer trigger we set out for Azure Functions to trigger this function to activate the route. So it's 5:30 right now. So I'm assuming if I do this, refresh, and then type again Friday, there we go. And now, just like that, few seconds ago, a function was triggered. So let's confirm that, right? So we're talking about this activate route. So if I tap on it, and if I go to metrics, oh, you don't want to show us the metrics. I don't know why that particular metric is not showing, but let's go to this kind of metric. And let's go function execution count. I think this one is more relevant. And let's go this side and see what's going on. Okay, there could be a bit of a delay. Let's refresh. Okay, we'll come back to it. But clearly, there was a function. I just want to check the timing. As you can see, you know what it does? Because yesterday I said this. I said that when this guy gets to be called, this method, based on this method. Okay, this is a method. It calls a helper method, right? One of the things that we do after we have received day of the week, of which this one it's Friday, what we're gonna do, we're gonna now override it, create it on by setting the current date time. There is a helper method on class called helpers that helps us with it. So if you look at the timestamp right now of these guys that are currently active all the way here, you can see that today 10 January 2025 at 5:30 exactly, right? This is now a new timestamp that was recorded, or a date time that was recorded. Do you understand? So it did fire. It's just that the portal is kind of like late. There we go. As you can see, now I have data. Although this shows me 1 second later, but this shows that the function did indeed execute. Right. So I just want to show you that I did not even have to sit here and do this manually. Like I said, I can do it manually. For example, let's go for Saturday, right? Saturday, as you can see, if I tap here, you would note that the route name itself, it's Saturday. If I do edit, I can manipulate this guy manually and activate them. But this was the initial idea until I learned about Azure Functions to say, you know what, this can make my life way easier if I just allow the function to trigger at this specific time, which is 5:30 whilst from America. But locally, in development, I should only tell it to be 3:30. So this we are done. So we can close this guy. Now, I want us to wrap up this, right? I have the emulator. We'll set up the emulator. But I want us to talk about what else happened. So we know that the memory cache was cleared specifically for this page for pickups, meaning that I was able to refresh and get the accurate data as you saw. Good. So now, what is next? Let me do this. What is next? The next thing now is use a random object. And this is a new way, by the way, to deal with a random object. So random.shared.next. And as you can see, the next method now expects the integer max value. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the list of all the items that were modified. I get the count. So I know there are 11 in total, and we can do the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Because in a day, I intend to go to 11 pickup points, Monday to Friday. And on Saturday, there are only 10 because of the timing, right? So meaning that I do have the value here 11. So I have it now, the index for pickup and index for drop off. I said I want to show you how this is relevant, right? So first let's fix the timing, because you see it says a Thursday, January 9th. The emulator, it's funny, but let's do this. Let's go and fix the date and time. Like I said, I can't set this automatically because then it's going to be crazy. You see, January 9. I'm not sure what happened to the emulator, but I have to do this manually all the time. So Friday 10th, and the time is going to be 5:35. Yes, but it's AM. There we go. Good. And now we can relaunch the app. Click continue, click login. Didn't have to go to login page. Instead, it looked if we are still not only authorized, but did we tell it to just go through? All right. So I'm gonna come back to this home page, but let's go back to the pickups and see a new route and confirm. So if I tap on this guy, this is going to be the first pickup point we're going to be at. So if I tap on the pin, it shows the name, Marang Intermediate School, right? Yes, it says the pickup scheduled today at 9 until 9:30. So let's confirm that, Marang Intermediate School. There we go, Marang Intermediate School. So if we see that, yes, indeed, it's true, right? So this is a way for me to double check that everything still works. So let's look at another random one. This one here. Karisanung Community Hall, right? We're going to be there from 3 until 3:30. So Karisanung Community Hall. Where is it? There we go. Here it is. You see, from 3 until 3:30, and indeed it's active. So the data corresponds, the data, it's exactly how we want it. So let's go back to a home page. That's a focus of this part 3, right? On the home page, you will see on the pickups, there we go. But this is incorrect. This is not supposed to say bus stop 2, because this we saw data from yesterday. Especially I saw, if we go to drop off Pumulong entrance 3, this was yesterday's data. So the question is, why is it still holding on to incorrect data? Because Pumulong entrance 3, if we go and search, I may have a bug. Let me just say, I don't have to type the whole thing, I can just do this. And Pumulong entrance 3, this guy, you see it's no longer active because it was last active yesterday. But the question is, why is the emulator still showing this guy? That's very interesting. The only logical explanation, and I'll show you, but let's first finish this guy. You know what? Let's see why this is here. So let's go to .NET MAUI, go to the views, content pages, customers. You see there's a home page. So obviously the description is the one that we are manipulating. So the title is what shows up there, right? The description is what we are manipulating, right? So now you know how this guy it's showing up. So Are we doing something? Code behind? Indeed, we are doing something. Firstly, we are speaking to, we have global variables for home view model. Okay, and initialize component, default tab colors, binding context, making sure that that home view model is known, dealing with the flyout on appearing. Yes, we are indeed calling. After we dealing for 500 milliseconds, we are calling show info. So let's go to the view model. Right, so the view model does a lot, right? Speaking to home service, and this was the method that's being called, right? It's gonna show this if it wants to show this, but there is a caching. That's why, because remember I said I did this yesterday, so there's a caching. And remember I made a video about caching. So if I quickly go to utilities, you see that there's a caching class, and the caching, when we are setting it, we are setting from 1 day, so it makes sense that it still has data of yesterday. But that won't quietly explain why I have updated data here. We just confirm these locations. They're current, they're new, right? So if that's the case, because even this guy, it's behind memory cache. Let me quickly confirm that. If we go to pickups view model, right? Oh, okay, I understand now. It's not necessary because there's a condition that I had put in place that overrides the caching, meaning that, okay, let me quickly explain this. Maybe it might be confusing, but stay with me. There's a caching for 1 day. Can we understand that? It's supposed to be only for 1 day, which is 24 hours. But here you got to see that the data showed up as a fresh data or a new data instead of the cache data. It's because there's a datetime right now, which is I put here on this variable. And I say if out of that datetime, the hour is 5, which is 5 a.m., right? Get inside, else skip, just get out. But if it is indeed the hour, and you saw I started recording exactly 5:29, right? So that means we were within that hour. As we can see, we're still within that hour. So mean that this is going to execute because this will be true. And then we're saying if the minute it's greater or is equals to 30, and the minute it's less or is equals to 40, meaning there's a 10-minute window. What I'm saying with a 10-minute window, get fresh pickups. The reason why I'm doing that, let's go back. Let me take you back. You saw data refreshing immediately. If you look at, there we go, even this shows. At 5:30, exactly at 5:30, data then was refreshed, right? To have these guys to be now active for Friday. However, Azure Functions reported the changes 1 minute late. So what I'm saying is, I'm saying between 5:30 and 6:20, there's a 10-minute, that's why I'm using the and condition. There is a 10-minute period on which I want you to now refresh and get the freshest data. Hence, this was able to give us a fresh data. Whereas on the home view model, there is a cache behind it. So it's going to first go and get the cache, of which 24 hours has not yet elapsed. So it makes sense that if this guy is not null, it's going to continue to get the old data because this will be not null. But if it's null, it's going to get the fresh data from the web API. So there's a way to check this, right? Either I do this, because if you go to home, it's not going to do anything because this data is cached. So either I can remove the app and start again and see maybe the 24-hour period of the caching has elapsed. This is why I made a video of caching prior to this. So let's see. I'm looking either the title of pickup or drop-offs. There we go. So the caching is still behind. So how do we fix this? All I have to do is to go to app info. Let's go to storage and cache, and I'm gonna clear cache. Then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna say open. Why when I say oh, but it didn't show the splash screen? I don't know why. You see that shows that the caching was now removed. It's fine. But just because I clear the caching, it doesn't mean it's gonna overwrite this guy. It doesn't mean that it's gonna overwrite this guy. Because remember, there's a cache and there's a shared preferences. So the reason why I'm still able to log in without having to go to the login page and enter both the email and password is because remember, credentials on login page is still active. This is a shared preferences. It's not a memory cache. There's a difference. Good. So let's go and see. You see now the drop off shows something completely different. Let's go and see with the pickup. Now the pickup shows something else that's completely different. This proved my case. And now we can go and still confirm that we're getting freshest data. Let's tap here. You see that BP action filling station. If we go back to the portal and quickly search BP, the two BPs, there's a BP action filling station. Indeed, this one it's active. Whereas there's another BP garage. This one is in Willows. It's not active because there's a potential pickup. So, but this shows the correct data. This shows that yes, the pickup page is still pulling up correct data. So now is the home page. Do you understand? So what it did is the current active pickups, one of them randomly. Hence, we are looking at this controller. Oh no. Hence we are looking at this random guy to say, go and get me anything that's random for the pickup, right? So then what we do, not only the pickup, but also the drop off. Hence, you're able to see with the drop off has something completely different. Come on. Don't mind this. This is a random thing. There we go. Super Spa Kenworth. If I quickly go and search Super, there we go. The Super Spa Kenworth, and we can confirm that yes, indeed, it's active, right? So that's why I was able to just randomly and place it there. Good. So what we're doing is we're getting that index from the random object, right? And we have another helper method called update newsfeed. It's asynchronous. So this method expects what? It expects a pickup location of type string. It expects also drop-off location of type string. So what I'm doing is, out of this guy, the index, get the name. Remember, we have a list, but I'm passing in the index, right? That was randomly picked by the random object. Get me the name. If you do dot, you have access to anything. So if I do dot, I have access to create on, if it's active, potential pickup, location number, and so forth, all the properties, including the name. I hope that makes sense. So I'm doing that. I'm also doing this for the same list of the pickups, but the index of drop off and still the pickup name, right? Then what I'm doing is I am going to this method. Now this method, what it does is, these are two things I'm expecting, right? I'm gonna say var pickup. Database, let's go to the news feeds. I need you to get me first or default based on the title of pickup. So that's what you see here, the title. I'll look for it until I find it. There we go. Look for this title. Once you find that guy, hence we're saying if the pickup is not now, that means we did find something. Else, skip this guy. But I can never make mistake because I know it's there. And this is incorrect, by the way. This is wrong because this is static. That means I can change this in a database. I do have a table of this. If I quickly go to the portal, again, go to news feeds, you see that under title, I have the pickup, meaning that I can change this. And this is the data, by the way, as you can see. What you see on the app here, that's exactly what you see here. But how does it know how to get this guy? You see, I didn't even have to do this manually. If I hit cancel, you will see that, yes, there it is. And that is, I don't have to do it manually. Hence, again, I rely on the power of Azure Functions to do a whole lot of multiple tasks. I hope that makes sense. Oh, this is exciting. All right, so we did find something. It's not now. So what are we doing? We say pick up the description. Now we are manipulating the description. And this is where we are using a string interpolation to say what came in, this will be there. So meaning that the name will be inside there. Parentheses, and you would just write this guy. So what I'm doing basically every time this guy gets called, I am just putting a new pickup location. Then when I'm done, I'm preparing the state to be modified, and then I save the changes to that database. Then I do the same thing with the drop off to say database, let's go again to newsfeeds table, the same table, first or default. Now let's look for the title named drop off. Drop off. By the way, don't mind this. This is a font that's able to do capitalization. It doesn't mean that it's gonna, this is how it is, but with the font, it's gonna be this nice but capitalized. Remember, we can do that. But what's important is we do have a title like this, and we can confirm that is title. So what it does again, if it's not now, we find a record, you're gonna manipulate the description and just put in what came in, right? You're gonna go and prepare the state of that item to be modified, and you're gonna save the changes. And when we are done, you're just gonna go to the general. So general, if you look at the general, this guy, it keeps on changing because I want this to keep on showing something completely different. Do you understand? Which is this guy, but we're not gonna get into this. I'll probably make a video on in homepage. How are these buttons, doing this? What's going on here? Do you understand? So, but I just want to show you how is that data, it's able to now change on the fly like this. Do you understand? Good. So this was all part 3, and I hope this was exciting and for you to see my thought processes. Like I got excited to also show you about the caching and then claiming the caching to show you the difference. Do you understand? Listen, I hope you found this video helpful, and there's still more. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. If you haven't liked this video, like the video. If it was helpful, leave something on the comment. If you're still unsure, have any concern, please let me know. I'm happy to do a follow-up. But this is what I built, cover the shoe, and I'm just getting started. Until next time, thank you.